How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Adrian Carr. I'm back at you with another one. Today, I'll be providing a therapist reaction video to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air scene. How come he don't want me? And for those of y'all that don't know the context of this scene, it's a 10 out of 10 recommended watch. Basically, Will's dad, after many years of being away, comes back into his life, and there's hope that this relationship can be restored, but then something happens, right? So I will be providing a psychological breakdown and also psychological reasoning behind what I'm seeing throughout the scene. Before this video even starts, though, be sure to like and subscribe and to stay updated with my channel. But yeah, let's get into it.
Sit down.
I ain't got time for no lecture.
I said sit down, Lou. You know, Will was doing just fine till you showed up. But now that you're back, you have responsibilities to him.
Look, we're still gonna take the trip.
Oh, bull! Bull! Will is not a coat that you hang in the closet, then pick it up when you're ready to wear it.
Will is not a coat that you put in the closet and pick it up when you're ready to wear it. The writers knew what they were doing when they did that. So look at this, right? From a psychological lens, Uncle Phil is what we call in psychology a secure attachment figure in Will's life, meaning that he's a trusted individual. He is somebody who has taken on the guardian role in his life. And even just the way they set the scene up, right? Like Uncle Phil is he's standing on his feet, and Will's father Lou is literally sitting down. It's kind of like like almost like a power move in a way. But also remember too that in this scene, that Uncle Phil is not really, he's not trying to be the big man and show another man how he's a little man in a situation. He's speaking from a place of protective anger. This is something that, he's trying to protect because he literally is responsible in Will's life as a guardian figure. So this is what we call protective anger. Frustration. So this is not ego. This is not like a grandiose situation. This is not I'm the bigger man, you're the smaller man situation. Something to really highlight from that scene. And also his body language is speaking that he's speaking from a place of being self-assured. He's firm, and his nervous system is regulated. You can kind of tell by the way that he's speaking. He's confident, and he's confronting a dysregulated nervous system. Look at the way that Will's father is positioning himself, the way that he looks. He's kind of moving around. He has his hand on his head. He's kind of like trying to avoid eye contact. So a key therapist insight is Uncle Phil isn't just mad, he's setting a boundary that Will could never set for himself. So that's something that you'll notice throughout the episode and even just throughout different seasons from this show. He is setting a boundary that Will cannot set for himself. So let's continue.
His life goes on. He's not supposed to be here for you. You're supposed to be here for him.
You get off my back! You think I want this? It just happened! Now, when Will was a baby, I was scared.
Oh, that was crap, all right? Let it. Because I've been there. But I didn't run out on my family. I was there every day for them because that's what a man does.
Fine, Philip. You win. You the man. You a better man than me. You happy?
In this scene, you can tell he's just not understanding it. He just doesn't get it right. From a psychological lens, Will's father represents a thing that we call intermittent reinforcement, which means that he shows up whenever he needs to reinforce an issue in order to make himself feel better from this scene clearly, and then he disappears. It can become a patternistic thing. And from a trauma lens, this can be a damaging pattern for children, especially because it puts them in a hypervigilant state of always wondering when that person is going to come back. So that's something to really pull from this specific scene. But yeah, let's continue.
Now, you gonna tell Will or not?
I'm not going to do your dirty work for you.
Fine. I'll call him from the road.
Yeah, then why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Daddy-o! What's up? Will.
I want to go back on this scene. Another thing that we really talk about in therapy is emotional bypassing, and him saying like, "Yeah, I'll just call him from the road, like it's all good." Something to highlight too. Emotional bypassing is basically when you just brush over the situation like it never existed, or you try your best to kind of be in a denial mindset of saying, "Hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'll call him from the road." Something to pull from this scene also.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle. So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold. You understand?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just for a couple of weeks.
I understand.
Yeah.
Even seeing Will kind of like grab his clothes like this, like it just shows that he's uncomfortable. There's a sense of discomfort happening inside of him. Um, Body language is key in this scene.
I understand.
Yeah. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, whatever.
Even the voice tone, right? Like he went from "Daddy O" to "Oh, that's cool, that's cool." His voice went higher. It's almost like a repression, or almost like a. It's almost like he regressed or repressed back to a certain time period. When his voice tone changed.
Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details. Okay?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too, Lou.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Will.
You know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm
Will,
saying?
it's all right to be angry.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call a defense mechanism. So Will immediately goes into joking mode, and he starts to let's just play, let's let it play.
It's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. If there was something that I...
Hey, you know what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, Ain't like I'm going to be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first day without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
Y'all, these are defense mechanisms in psychology. Will jokes. He becomes overconfident. Emotional minimization is a real thing in this scene. He's like, I got through 14 great birthdays. He talks about how he went on his first date. He learned how to drive without his father. These are the things that we pull on when we feel emotionally hurt, right? We pull into things that make us feel confident, and we pull into things that are safe spaces for us, right? And so, what we call this clinically, what Will is kind of expressing, is intellectualization, and also deflection, and also avoidant attachment coping. And so, with the combination of all these things, his joking isn't an immature thing. It's more of a survival tactic, right? His body is probably either in fight, flight, or freeze. You know what I mean? Like it's probably dysregulated. His body is feeling all type of things, and so he's pulling on the things that help him survive and help him feel well. Kind of brushing over the situation, saying that what it is, it's okay, right? And so usually when kids grow up with a lot of abandonment, they use a quote that goes along the lines of, if I don't need you, you can't hurt me. This scene screams literally when you're dealing with a person who's saying that they're good, but their body language isn't showing that they are good.
I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call an emotional collapse. So all of Will's defenses have failed him at this point, right? As he's emotionally dumping, the inner child has emerged. The inner child has not been healed. He's done a really good job of, suppressing this issue, and moving forward with life, with his life turning a new leaf. But you can literally hear it in his voice, right? Like his voice starts to crack, his posture collapses. The inner child has emerged. And so what you see is clinically and from a psychological lens is that abandonment trauma has begun to resurface itself. And also core belief exposure has become a real thing. The things that, Will feels like are true to him are starting to uprise at the surface. The core belief in this moment is I wasn't worth staying for. Even at this age, right? Like Will's a lot older now. He's doing. If you watch the full episode, he's doing what he has to do to mend this relationship. And at this point, he's fully convinced that my dad's gonna stay this time, or I'm gonna go with my dad. It's a tough situation as a therapist, and even as people. When people reach this point, it's not even like people are not even really asking for answers anymore. They're more so asking if they are even lovable. And so whenever Will says the line of, how come he don't want me? It's not even about Will's dad anymore. It's more so about Will's identity, how he views himself. He's viewing himself as somebody who isn't loved, or what did I do? What did he do wrong? That's what he's thinking, right? Or probably other thoughts, right? And so it's a lot to unpack from this scene. It's very challenging to see. This scene specifically was powerful in many ways, right? Like just even having the symbolism of the statue having, a father-like figure, or lookable, it looks like a father-like figure wrapping his arms around his child and comforting him in love, right? What Will wants from that relationship. And what you see from the scene is that Will tries to hold it together. He tries to be the strong man. We talk about masculinity, right? He tries to be strong. He apologizes for crying. And he immediately feels shame, right? And so this is what we call emotional suppression, and it eventually, it outpours. It's emotional dumping, right? It kind of the inner child will eventually be revealed, given in a moment like this. And we also learn from this scene that Will may have learned early on in his life that emotions were seen as a sign of weakness, just by how he tried to cover up his anger and frustration and his sadness towards what had happened and what had occurred. We also learned that he had no consistent caregiver to co-regulate his emotions. And so Uncle Phil being that person in his life, may have been the first time that Will ever had a moment like this with somebody, maybe his mom, right? Um, I had to find some other episodes with his mom to even see if that were even a thing where he can be emotionally free like he is in this scene. From a trauma lens, again, this is male socialization and abandonment and trauma colliding, right? So this is the masculinity, and this is where abandonment kind of comes together, and then they kind of rupture, and then boom, the roof is torn off, right? So this is what unprocessed grief looks like when men are taught not to grieve. There's a thing called allostatic load. It's when stress builds up over time. It's accumulation of stress, and then eventually the stress bypasses your mind and it shows up in your body. Um, Kind of relatable to this. When grief is unprocessed and is not dealt with, it always reveals itself in these very vulnerable moments. It would just accumulates, kind of like a boiling pot, and then next thing you know, is steam just and it's overflowing, and water just overflowing from the pot, right? And Uncle Phil being who he is in this scene is huge, right? Uncle Phil, um, bracing him with the hug, right? He says nothing. He doesn't try to fix the issue. He just shows him, "Hey, I'm here with you." Sometimes you don't need to fix the issue, right? Or actually, we shouldn't be fixing in general unless somebody's asking for that specifically. We just need to be there and be emotionally available for that person, empathizing. Clinically, what Uncle Phil did was co-regulate the situation. Again, he's acting as the secure attachment repair, and he is non-verbally a safe place and signaling safety in this situation. So again, from a psychological lens, and even just from a just general lens, like we need safety. We all function off of psychological safety, physical safety. Having that caregiver there, having that person there that is going to make you feel emotionally safe. Uncle Phil plays such a significant role in this scene. Like his hug literally tells Will that you don't have to be the strong one here. Your pain makes sense to me. Again, he's showing empathy with that, right? Like with the hug. His hug says, you are worth staying for, reinforcing and going against the idea that Will may feel about himself in that present moment. So as a therapist, when I see that scene, I'm just like, this is what healing looks like. This is what the healing process, the beginning phases, this is what it looks like. Um, this is what it looks like before the words even exist. It's reinforcement. It's having, a social support system that is supportive of you, somebody that's gonna, express psychological safety for you and be that safe place for you, and also just comfort you in that moment where you need to be comforted. Again, this scene is so powerful. I hope that you as viewers were able to gain some psychological insight from this scene specifically. Um, Again, this wasn't just a TV moment. This is therapy without a couch. This is literally a boy asking why he wasn't enough and a man showing him that he always was enough. So again, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all. And again, be on the lookout for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.